Hello, and thank you for joining me. If you're a contractor, subcontractor, project manager, or business owner, you've probably signed dozens, maybe even hundreds of construction contracts. Most people focus on the project itself. How much does it pay? When does it start? How long will it take? But many of the biggest financial risks aren't found in the scope of work. They're buried in the contract. Today's goal: talk about contract clauses with significant financial exposure, help you recognize potential issues before work begins, empower you to ask the right questions. Remember, you don't have to become an attorney. You simply need to understand the basics to protect your business. Let's get started. Why contracts matter. Many contractors think insurance protects them from everything. It doesn't. Insurance is only one part of managing risk. The contract is just as important. Think of a contract as the rule book for the project. It explains who is responsible, who carries insurance, who pays if something goes wrong, who accepts certain risks, who must defend another company in a lawsuit. If you don't understand the contract, you may be accepting responsibilities you never intended to take on. That's why reviewing contracts before signing is so important. Additional insured, one of the most common contract requirements. Let's look at a simple example. Suppose you're a general contractor building a shopping center. You hire an electrical subcontractor. During construction, an employee causes damage. The property owner files a lawsuit against everyone, including your company. If your contract required additional insured status, that endorsement may help protect you from certain claims arising out of subcontractors' work, depending on policy language and facts of the claim. This is why additional insured status is requested so often. It helps align insurance coverage with the contract's responsibilities. But don't just assume you're covered. Verify required endorsements have been issued. Indemnity sounds complicated, but the idea is simple. One company agrees under some circumstances to protect another from specific losses or claims. Example: you're hired to install structural steel. Your employee damages the owner's property. Contract may require you to accept responsibility for damage from your work. Indemnity provisions determine who is responsible when something goes wrong. Some clauses are broader than others. Understand what you're agreeing to before signing. Duty to defend, a clause many contractors overlook, can have significant financial consequences. Example: a customer files a lawsuit involving multiple companies. Even before blame is determined, legal expenses begin: attorneys, document review, interviews. Some contracts require one party to provide a legal defense for another under certain circumstances. A duty to defend clause can mean substantial legal expenses, not just paying a claim. Limitation of liability, a provision that can work in your favor. Limits certain damages that one party may owe another. No contractor can eliminate every risk. Unexpected things happen. A limitation of liability clause may help establish boundaries on financial responsibility. Not every contract has one, and not every limitation is enforceable. But when you see one, understand the protections or limitations it creates. Liquidated damages, one of the most talked about provisions in construction contracts. But not everyone understands what it means. Imagine you agree to finish by October 1st. The contract says if you're late, you owe a specified amount for each day, e.g., payment of a set daily amount until completion. The purpose is to establish an agreed-upon measure of damages for some delays instead of arguing about it later. But not every delay results in liquidated damages. There may be legitimate reasons for extensions. Know the schedule requirements. Understand the contract's consequences for missed deadlines. Design responsibility. Don't assume you have no responsibility for design because you're billed only. Your contract may say otherwise. Example: hired to install steel per engineer's drawings, but the contract says to verify dimensions or prepare shop drawings. Suddenly increased responsibility. Being told to design and build means you may have professional design services liability. Know if your responsibility goes beyond building. Builder's risk. Many assume builder's risk protects everything. It doesn't. Builder's risk is generally for the project during construction. For example, fire damages structure during construction. Builder's risk may help depending on policy and cause of loss. Who is responsible for purchasing builder's risk? Sometimes the owner, sometimes the general contractor. Never assume, verify. Professional liability. Contractors sometimes think, I'm not an architect or engineer, but if you prepare shop drawings, provide recommendations, or perform professional services, this could apply. General liability covers bodily injury or property damage. Professional liability generally covers financial losses from professional errors or omissions. If your work includes professional judgment, your contract may require this coverage. Understand your actual responsibilities, not just your job title. Pollution liability. Pollution claims can arise on many projects, not just oil or chemical plants. Examples: damaged underground fuel line, dust spreading into occupied building, contaminated soil during excavation, cleaning chemical enters nearby storm drain. Many general liability policies have pollution exclusions. Some projects require separate pollution liability coverage. Know your contract's requirements. Waivers. A waiver means giving up a right. Contracts contain many types: lawsuits, claims, damages, post-project rights. The key point: recognize when you're giving up a legal right. When you see waiver, slow down and read carefully. 5 more mistakes that can cost contractors. These mistakes are common but avoidable. Mistake number 1, signing first, reading later. Never rush through a contract because you're excited for a project. Mistake number 2, assuming your insurance meets every contract requirement. Insurance policies and contracts are different documents. Mistake number 3, never asking questions. Good, professional, and successful contractors all ask questions. Mistake number 4, waiting for a claim to read the contract. That's like reading the manual after equipment breaks. Mistake number 5, thinking, this will never happen to me. Most who experience disputes probably thought the same. Risk management is about being prepared. 3 real-world scenarios. Let's see how these clauses work together. Scenario 1, subcontractor damages newly installed windows. Owner sues everyone. Questions: who indemnifies whom? Who is additional insured? Whose insurance responds first? The answers begin with the contract. Scenario 2, contractor doesn't notice liquidated damages clause, project delayed. Now everyone's trying to determine, are damages owed? Are extensions valid? What does the contract say? Careful review before signing could have helped. Scenario 3, contractor assumes owner's builder's risk covers everything. Loss reveals gap. Responsibility was placed elsewhere by the contract. Companies are now arguing about insurance not finishing the project. That's why understanding responsibilities before work begins is so important. 10 questions every contractor should ask before signing. What am I actually agreeing to do? What risks am I accepting? What insurance does this contract require? Do I understand the indemnity language? Am I required to provide additional insured status? Are there primary and non-contributory requirements? Does the contract require builder's risk, professional liability, or pollution liability coverage? Have I reviewed the schedule requirements and liquidated damages provisions? Have I discussed this contract with my insurance advisor? If I don't understand something, have I asked for clarification before signing? These 10 questions alone can help prevent many costly surprises. Final thoughts. Construction contracts aren't just paperwork. They're crucial risk management tools. Every signature creates responsibilities. Every requirement has a purpose. You don't need to become an attorney or memorize every legal term. Understand the basics, recognize issues, and ask questions. The most successful contractors don't avoid contracts, they understand them. When something isn't clear, they ask. That simple habit can protect your business, reputation, and financial future. Key takeaways: read the insurance section as carefully as you read pricing. Don't assume your insurance satisfies every requirement. Understand your responsibilities before signing. Ask questions when something isn't clear. Work with trusted advisors to review key agreements. Those habits can make a tremendous difference over the life of your business. I hope this presentation made construction contracts less intimidating and easier to understand. The goal isn't to become a contract law expert. It's to recognize issues early, ask questions, and make better decisions. If you found this helpful, consider sharing it with your coworkers, project managers, estimators, and fellow contractors. The more people understand these concepts, the better prepared they are to avoid surprises. Need a second opinion on your insurance, contract requirements, or risk strategy? Visit www.montridgeinsurance.com. Schedule a confidential discussion. Thanks for